facilities tech, and in the Air Force, I was a aircraft structural maintenance.
My name is Adam Heckles-Miller. I'm a logistics and warehousing associate with the supply chain team, at the Lebanon plant. Been with Lilly for about 7 months now. Prior to that, my undergrad was in industrial engineering, did Army ROTC, was active duty for 4 years as an engineer officer, platoon leader, battalion staff, worked for the Corps of Engineers for a bit. When I got out, I moved to Indy. I've been in manufacturing now for the past 7 years. I just finished up my master's in supply chain management and business analytics, graduated in December, and then started with Lilly in January.
Chip Potterman, I'm the Associate Director of Facilities for the Lebanon plant site. Prior Marine Corps veteran and did 4 years in the Marine Corps as a mortarman.
I'm Doug Willis, also served in the Marine Corps back in the early 80s. Started with Eli Lilly in 2001 here at Tippecanoe Labs in Lafayette. Stayed at that site, though they sold it in 2010, and went back to Lilly's last June as a supervisor for peptide purification.
I'm Lee Miller. I just retired from the Guard, 20.5 years service. I was a 13 Fox Beater MOS, and then I retired as a first sergeant at a towed cannon battery down in Vincennes. Shout out Mustangs. Then I'm a LP1, Limited Production Site 1 facilities planning manager. So trying to work with facilities to get the place up and running and making sure we as business operations facilitate the site for everything it needs to make sure we can conduct operations and make medicine for patients.
Great. So as I said, this is the kind of the career pathways at Lilly workshop. So we're going to talk a little bit about career pathways, what it looks like to try to go from aspiring employee through the recruitment hiring process and into like onboarding and that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to kind of talk us through some of that and how that works. If you all have questions at any point, please jump in and ask. This is for the students' benefit. So
Yeah, so I think it all starts with applying to Lilly. Go to lilycareers.com and you apply to Lilly to a position that you're looking for. And I think, as soon as you see one of those positions open, apply immediately, because it is kind of a first come, first serve type situation. So if 300 people apply, the recruiter may only look at the first 20 to source from and to interview from. So, and then the interview process, we have typically 2 to 3 interview teams that you'll interview with. And there'll be a mixture of people from that organization and typically somebody from outside of that organization. So if we're interviewing for facilities, we may have somebody from utilities on the interview team as well. And then once you're through the interview process, the hiring manager make their decision and make that offer to that person. And then some positions require a skill assessment. Other positions don't require that. So some of the entry-level positions will have a skill assessment that they conduct. But engineering degrees and stuff won't have that skill assessment. So that part of it.
okay.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of process consideration that is different for veterans and military candidates than other candidates? Is there a different kind of pathway, different team, anything unique or different about that kind of journey for those folks?
Yeah, so Lilly has a veteran talent community. And if you join that community, that puts your kind of resume in the hands of the recruiters first. So when there's a hiring manager that has a position, they post it, the recruiter goes and looks at that talent community and pulls from there first to source positions for that. So that is kind of a way to give veterans a head start on positions.
And something that's neat though, like with Lilly, it was founded by a field artillery colonel, Eli Lilly. So another great thing to help veterans is the community portal for a company founded by a veteran. So it's just kind of perfect how that works out.
Very cool. Typically, how long would you say the hiring process is from applicant? I mean, everybody's different, every position's different, but ballpark, how long does it take to go from I click submit to each of the different stages, give or take?
It really depends on how fast the need is for
Okay.
the individual or for whatever they're hiring. I've seen it take 2 months and I've seen it take 6 months.
Okay.
First, it starts out by they do a first run on the interviews, look at them, and some people are rejected just because what they're applied for has no match to their background, their skill and background. If they make it through that, then one of the recruiters will call you and set up a phone interview, and they'll ask you a series of questions during that interview. And if you do well on that, then you'll go to the next step, which is being interviewed by the team that's going to be hiring and some other folks. If you do well on that, they'll make a decision on who they want to hire. And then that'll go back to the original folks and they'll put together an offer. And it's usually a pretty decent offer, depending on your background, whatever your history is, your work background. And then you go through a background check if you accept that offer, a drug screening, of course. But the most important thing is to make sure your resume is accurate, because if there's something that they'll go back to your 18th birthday and they'll look at everything, all your accomplishments and accolades and whatnot. And if there's a discrepancy there, then you'll be dropped from that process. So, yeah, obviously coming from the military background, you have the honesty and integrity already. They just want to make sure that what you put on your resume is what you actually have.
Sure. What would you say is let me back up to ask this question first. Does Lilly do like behavior and values, questions and evaluation in their interview process?
Oh, absolutely.
Some of our other hiring partner organizations do. Just curious what that kind of thing looks like.
It's a series of questions, and the groups ask the same questions. Like you would go, okay, I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to ask this throughout the whole day worth of interviewing. And they're background-based questions. They're questions about what have you done in your past. And they're looking we use the STAR pattern. It's situation, task, action, and result. So what was the situation? What task came from that situation? What action do you take? And what was the final result? And they're basically behavioral based questions. So, and then you draw, it's not hypothetical questions. It's not, I would have done this, or I could do this. And it's actual factual things that you've done. And it doesn't necessarily have to be military based. It can be a previous job. It could be something, in your church or with your family, or, we don't like to dig too much into family, but, yeah, it gives you a very good rounded opinion on somebody based on their answers.
And if you two ever have any questions, jump right in.
Yeah, so one question I have is, being someone in the National Guard, is how is Lilly when it comes to going on like deployments or going on do orders and stuff like that? Like do I have like if I do have to go on a deployment, like will I be able to have my job when I come back, or like what is that like?
Yeah, so your position, so if you go on deployment and stuff like that, you have USARA, that's a protection for you. That's a federal protection. So they will protect your job for 5 years, up to 5 years. So now there is a caveat with that. It's your employment is protected for 5 years. So you may be an operator, maybe, hey, we need you in the warehouse or something similar, right?
Right.
They're not going to make it to where, oh, you were an operator, now you're going to be a scientist. Good luck and go get them. But it has to be something in kind, right? But that gives you protection for 5 years.
Okay.
And if you're ever, with any employer, right? If you have something coming up, open communication with your employers, number one, when it comes to that.
Thank you.
And weekend duty and stuff.
Yeah. So when it comes to the employer, most employers have some kind of benefit program when it comes to, or your paid time off. So with Lilly, the time off, if you had, the 10 drill and stuff like that would be, they do a differential. So whatever your pay at the drill would be, if it does not meet what you would pay on a scheduled day, they will bridge the gap. So you're always at the Lilly pay.
Okay.
Now, if the military side's higher than what you get at military, then you don't get anything, but it's all protected time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thinking about, veterans and military temple students, what do they bring to the table that Lilly really looks to key in on? Like what value are those potential candidates bringing that you're really keen on capitalizing on?
Go ahead.
The entrepreneurial mindset, right? So I got a task, my job to execute. So I may not have to be fed everything, but okay, who do I need to go talk to? What do I need to consider? Building out a plan, an agenda, and then as you're getting things knocked out, are they coming back and checking, hey, am I on the right pulse? Am I moving in the right direction? Yes, you are. Continue, do forth, or go do good things. So just being able to actually function autonomously with direction, task, and purpose.
Yeah, exactly. We're in project mode right now, so even as a supervisor, I'm writing procedures. I'm working on our L&D, learning and development, to try to create curricula for our training, because we don't do anything unless we're fully trained. I'm also working on power isolation for lockout tagout program for isolating power for the equipment. So these are things that I've got background in for things that have already been put in place, but now I'm the one that's creating these. So I'm like way out of my zone with this. So the power to be able to communicate with others and liaison outside of your little box, because one person doesn't know it all, but he knows something that I don't know, he knows something that I don't know. And that's, we get everybody in a room, we talk about it, and we bring all the disciplines together to create a smaller team out of the bigger team and get things accomplished that way.
Sure. I would just say to add to that too, I mean, really, it's a lot of the leadership skills. A lot of people that don't have military experience see the military as this very hierarchical. There's a lot of directive leadership, and that's not always the case, especially in an organization like Lilly, where there's a lot of cross-functional teams with different objectives. There's a lot of influence without authority, and just understanding the different groups and their different needs and how you can work within those groups to kind of get what you need and build relationships and get things done, I think is really key.
Honesty and integrity, I brought it up earlier. That's, if you're supposed to be working 8 hours a day, you're working 8-hour days. There's no time clocks, there's no, clocking in, clocking out. If you're working from home, like we do occasionally, just making sure that you're doing what you're doing. And that's where the integrity comes in to play.
I think the other thing is also like in the military, you meet strange people like from all around the world. And I think even, but you meet people from different religions, different, just any economic backgrounds and stuff. And it's the same thing with Lilly too. Everybody's different.
So I actually had a question about, so the career fair is coming up, and I know I definitely want to visit the Lilly table and try to get interested maybe next summer, if not the summer after. And one question I had was how, like, what are some of the things that Lilly's like looking for? What are the most important things that Lilly is looking for? And then when it comes to like the military side of things, do they, like when I put my awards or some experience I have in the military, do they recognize that? Or is that kind of something that's out of there, they don't really care about that? What is that like?
So I've looked at a lot of resumes because I've been on a lot of interview teams, because we're building our teams right now. And to your first question, we're looking for everything. That's what I mean. We're building a plant site from scratch. So, and we're not able to hire internally because we can't rob from Peter to pay Paul, because we're making medicine other places. So if we take them all and bring them here, they can't make medicine either.
Right.
So, but looking at all the resumes, I can always tell who's been in the military, because I mean, I see some people and they got a half page worth of stuff they've done, and I see a military person's resume and they might have 3 pages. I mean, sometimes a little much, but I would still put all your awards, your deployments, and it just goes to show your diversity and your willingness to take challenges. And that's what we're looking for.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is, you're there to set a first impression, right? So showing up in, at least business casual, or higher, clean shaven, haircut, stuff like that, just helps set that first impression that recruiters are looking for.
Thank you.
So, this is for any of you. Can you elaborate on something your military experience has given you that you found useful, helpful, in your own experience at Lilly?
I'll go. All right. Sorry, I do a lot of talking. So I was a 13 Fox Forward Observer, fire sport planning and CO. So just like as it is, it's fire sport planning. So instead of actually planning fires, employing mortars, fixed wing aircraft, rotary, etc., now it's okay. My main effort is now production. Okay, so how do I support production? Well, we have to have uniforms. We have to build a schedule for uniforms. Hey, Bill and Zine's not here, but hey, Bill, go. You need to work with the group and get uniforms rolling, and building a schedule so that we can have a scheme maneuver, if you will, in ensuring that production's not impacted by resources not being there on time, so they can keep the main effort moving forward. So I know directly, sure, it's not throwing rounds through the air like I like, but now I'm supporting what allows this production or the site to actually be successful and make sure we can all have a good future.
Mine's from, my military background was S3, aviation operations. I worked primarily with F-18 pilots. I maintained their flight logbooks. I reserved range times and airspaces. And just the discipline from that, the documentation portion of it was really important because at Lilly, we don't just make medicine, we make documentation. And if we don't have the documentation to prove that that medicine was correctly made, we can't sell it. So that, one goes with the other. We make two things, documentation and medicine.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think something else that I think has been good for me, and you might be familiar if you're in ROTC, and everybody has to go through when they plan events, the deliberate risk assessment worksheets. And so you're thinking through anything that could possibly go wrong. What controls do we put in place to make sure it doesn't happen, or how do we avoid those things altogether? That's like a very simple way of thinking about risk, but whether you're a product manager, or a process safety engineer, developing processes, mapping out system integrations, thinking through those things of everything that can go wrong, and how do we error-proof systems to improve quality or make things faster, more efficient. Just getting that mindset, following that rigor, I think is helpful throughout your entire career. So it's a good structured approach to get started, and then it carries into many different things.
Me, I was in the infantry, so relating killing people to medicine is difficult, but I think definitely all the leadership skills and traits that the Marine Corps military in general just offers has allowed me to excel with Lilly and rise above my peers and continue to lead. Even if I wasn't in leadership, it's lead where you are, and it's always set me apart.
Right. And I think, for me, like, I'm sure most people in the military can relate, a lot of times you're given a lot of tasks and not enough time to complete them. So like you learn, whether it's leadership training or there's a bunch of other avenues you can learn it, life experience, time management skills, prioritization of your tasks. That's something that I've, tried to focus on throughout, my career from the, military into the civilian sectors. There's always going to be a million things on our plate. It's just always going to be that way. But how do I prioritize these to get the most important thing done to help, us get medicine to the customer? So, or to the patient. So it's just one of those things that I try to bring with me, and prioritize. So
The power the power to delegate.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, talking to students, that are looking at all these different options, IR coming around the corner, we can be close to 500 employers out there. As they're walking around, they're trying to pick different organizations to explore outside of branding. Why Lilly? Why should they consider Lilly? In your own words, what is it about Lilly that sold you?
Yeah, so Lilly's always had the reputation for being the best employer around. Lilly's one of the few that still offers a pension, which is amazing and sets itself apart. But really, I think it's the culture. Our culture is amazing. There's all kinds of development for our people. There's leadership opportunities. So Lilly invests heavily in people, respect for people, and it just aligns with the mission of making medicine and care for people. So I think, also making medicine is something to be proud of, that you're making life-saving medicines for others. So yeah, that's for my answer.
And there's, something like when you work here for a little while, there's, you hear people say like the Lilly family, there's a Lilly, it's true. Like many of my personal friends are from Lilly, and it's, I wouldn't have them without Lilly. And it's just that culture that they build where we really are like a family. Everybody's on one team. So it's just that, like Chip said, that overall culture is really nice to be around. And, one thing that Lilly does that I find really, amazing is they like to give opportunities to people internally that may not otherwise have them, which is great. Like if you are, a tradesperson and you work hard, you show that you have high technical aptitude, like they're going to push you to be even better. And they're going to push you, hey, would you like to take on like a professional level role or engineering level role? Like they do that. Where if you were an external candidate applying without those qualifications, you wouldn't stand a chance, So it's really cool to see that from the internal side, to know that, the sky's the limit really within the company.
I think the opportunities are endless. I started out making medicine as an operator and have climbed clear to the site management team. So that's very rewarding, very proud of that. And that background of having the operations experiences allowed me to be successful as I've climbed.
Yeah, I'll share that, the Lebanon plant that we're building is the largest pharmaceutical manufacturing plant ever built at one time. And it's a really exciting project to be a part of. It almost feels like the center of the universe for pharmaceutical manufacturing. And so whether you're interested in construction or computer science or supply chain or facilities, maintenance, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, there's tons of opportunities. And if you try something and you're like, yeah, there's parts of this job that I like and there's parts that I don't like as much, there's so many other opportunities within Lilly, within Indiana, that you don't have to relocate to get a different experience in your career. And so that there's lots of opportunities for growth and learning. And the culture that we have isn't, a culture of no failure. Failure is not unacceptable. I think we encourage people to learn from our mistakes, and that's how we grow. So that's been a great experience to be a part of.
So, yeah, for me, like when I came in, I didn't, believe it or not, when I had a journal, becoming chemical manufacturing was not ever in there, right? So when I came in and I started learning the equipment sets, so what should attract people is I have a 500-gallon equipment set, but there was a civil engineer involved, electrical, chemical, industrial, mechanical. There was scientists are involved, warehouse individuals, right? Financial are involved. How much does it cost to run this rig at whatever time? Operators are involved, because I was one of them. Thanks, Doug. But so just in one rig set, like you have everything. Oh, safety's involved, environmental's involved by the, so there's just so much in one little thing, right? Wow. And then as Adam said, as you can have, like, you start floating towards a niche, you're like, I want to learn more about this. And then as long as you have the aptitude and the desire and you're strong after it, they'll feed you the opportunities and you just kind of start floating in that direction. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
So most of the folks that are probably online or y'all here, this will probably be your first real job. Real job. I left a job where I had like 5 years left to retire to come back to Lilly. So, they hired someone in their late 50s. So they want different experience. They need the experience of someone that's been in the chemical manufacturing for 25 years. But they also need the newer folks that come in with a clean set of eyes, and they can laser focus on their job right away and take on more responsibilities over time. So that's the reason why I went back to Lilly.
Alex?
I guess the one reason why I guess tried to apply for Lilly was I'm third generation Lilly employee for our family, because my grandfather retired from Lilly and my dad currently works for Lilly, and seeing them both be comfortable with their job and feel safe and have good insurance and benefits was kind of a draw to me.
Great.
Yeah, Jake mentioned safety. My first job out of the military was working in a small factory here in town, Lafayette, and there was no safety culture. So when I first came to Lilly, I walked into the door, I said, where did they drop this from the heavens? Because they care, and still do, they care about you going home safely at the end of the day. They also care about you coming back to work safely. So, I was blown away by that when I first started back with Lilly. Oh, you need a hard hat in your backyard for cutting down a tree? Take one home. You need gloves to do something at home? Take it home. They're not like you're stealing from the company. They want you to be as safe at home as you are. And we even adopted a Safe Start Now program. That's a 4-part series where we encourage folks to change their behaviors toward a safety culture. Whereas, doing the right thing, even though you're not being watched. And that goes the same for safety. It goes for production. It goes for engineering. It all goes back to that doing the right thing, even though you're not being watched.
Great. Any questions on that?
Yeah, so, oh, sorry, did you want to say something?
I was just curious, as you were saying, with the safety even back home, where if they allowed you to have like gloves or whatever, do they ask you to like sign out saying,
No.
take this?
No,
Honesty.
So what I want to know was what you guys have previously spoken about is like the opportunities that Lilly like pushes you towards. I was like, so someone like me, where I like considered maybe just going straight for my master's or going to work somewhere and then going on for my master's or getting certificates for certain things that will help like for my job.
Mhm.
Lilly pushes you towards those and like encourages you.
We have financial assistance too for college also.
They do. Okay.
So I know when I wanted to get in the chemical manufacturing game, I wanted to learn the main effort, right? I wanted to learn production, and I fell in love with production. Because I'm on a production line, right? So it's not just making widgets and you put them on a chain and they go down the way. That's not what happens. It's an industrial size chemical lab set. So there's a lot of things you have to consider. Safety. I mean, safety can't be underlined enough, I don't think, when it comes to what we do. But I fell in love with the main effort. I learned it really well, and I said, what can I do more? What can I do better? Eventually it led me maintenance coordinator, and then I kind of took off from there. But yeah, it was awesome.
the culture or the slogan for Lilly is safety first, quality always. So they go hand in hand. So, I mean, if Jake goes home and he does something really dumb in the backyard on a 24-foot step ladder and can't come back to work, not only is he lost, his, something personal to him, like his health, it also creates a loss for the company. So that's why we want people to work as safely at home as they do when they're on the site.
I think, like you said, they have tuition assistance. I don't know what the dollar amount is. Now it's like 10,000 a year or something like that, I think. But for your master's, they also have programs like if you're accepted into you can be company sponsored into like an MBA program or something. Yeah, well, they'll pay for it. If it's like a top 20 MBA school in the nation, you can be company sponsored. But yeah, they definitely encourage, continuing education, and they'll support you all the way through that.
Lots of shadowing programs too.
Mhm. Yeah,
And whatever people do gets you like a better insight of what's actually going on.
yeah, and from the engineering standpoint, I'm sure others do as well, but they have company sponsored mentoring programs. So like myself, I have a mentor who's a higher level engineer, and I meet with them, on a monthly basis, and we set goals, we talk, any issues that I have. It's real informal, but he also helps me kind of work through some of any issues that I have, any questions that I have. It's kind of an informal conversation where I can ask those, offline. So yeah, they do literally your whole career at Lilly is based on making you better, and by making you better, you make the company better.
Right.
So
Thank you.
yeah,
Every employee has a development plan with short-term goals and long-term goals. We've got like 12 engineers on our team, all hired within the last 6 months, and all of them are just gone through project management professional certification training. So we're heavily invested in their development right from the get-go. So, and you see that across the league.
There's no DAPM 600-3 for your career with Lilly, so you're not gonna spend 3 years here and then do 2 years this and then go to this school. It's very much a choose your own adventure, and so it's a two-way street on opportunities that are available and things that you want to explore. And it's just managed through that dialogue with your manager, your development plan. There's lots of opportunities.
Thank you.
So kind of regarding on that, if you find that you're not liking where you're located and you're trying to go to something else, who would you need to be talking with?
Yeah, I think the conversation starts with your manager. Maybe there's other projects and different parts of projects that you can focus more on. And then from there, you may be able to explore different opportunities within your organization, other sites. And so it's where that network really comes into play and building those relationships to learn about other opportunities.
So again, thinking about who we're addressing, what are some tips and tricks that you see from your perspective that can help our students differentiate themselves, stand out a little bit at the career fair, in ways that they can position themselves well to be considered good candidates as they apply for jobs, writing resumes, things they can do to help win the interview, stuff like that. Just kind of talk us through some of those tips that you might give the next generation of future Lilly hires.
I think Chip touched on it, like during the job fair, make sure you come looking like you want a job. I know students, they don't bring their suit and tie with them or anything, but, dress for the position to start with, because that's really, we'll have recruiters there and they remember names, believe me, they are very, very smart. But yeah, I mean, dress for success.
Yeah, I think that first impression is very important. So a good solid handshake, a voice that, can be heard. I've talked to several where I've had to lean in and listen to them, try to hear what they're saying or whispering. So, that's setting that first impression, the appearance, handshake, how you speak, having energy in your tone and inflection. I think that helps leave a positive impression, right? We're not allowed to take your resume. So we encourage people to use our QR code to apply and submit your resume. If you give us your resume, we have to keep it for like 5 or 10 years. So we don't take resumes, but we will look at it there. And so that having that is acceptable as well.
I think maybe familiarizing yourself with the behavior-based type questions. I think, as soon as they notify you that you're going to have an interview, they'll tell you like, hey, it's going to be a star format. What is always in a star format? It's going to be behavior-based questions, things like that. So I think just familiarizing yourself, you can, go online and look at a million different types of behavior-based questions, but just familiarizing yourself with that and how to answer in star as well, I think will help you out.
Yeah, they're looking for a really rounded answer. We're looking for like hypotheticals and that type of stuff. We're just looking to make sure that you knew that there was a problem and what the path that you took to fix that problem, what the outcome was.
I think also doing some homework on Lilly, right?
I was gonna say, do look your job.
Knowing what opportunities Lilly has for you. I see several that come and, well, what do you have for me? And I don't know what I want to do, and having clear idea of what you want to do and how it aligns with Lilly, that helps set you apart as well.
The next question I have for you guys is, a lot of our students, as you know, coming out of the military, have not had to apply, have not had to interview, have not had to research and do these kinds of things for jobs. How do you each personally feel about, let's say Purdue military connected students reaching out to you like via LinkedIn saying, hey, I see that you're a veteran, I'm a veteran at Purdue, I'm interested in Lilly, would you be willing to get on a phone call with me for 30 minutes, let me pick your brain? Is that something you're interested in? And if you are, what's the kind of best way for them to approach each of you? Because I know everybody has a little bit different preference about LinkedIn requests and those kinds of things.
I'll go first. I got in the company 2 months ago, I think, got out of the military in June. And So I'm pretty new to it. I kind of know the process and how long everything took.
Okay. But what I'm saying is like if you're sitting there and all of a sudden you get a LinkedIn request saying, hey, my name is Brian, I'm a Purdue student. I'm a veteran, you're a veteran. I'm very interested in Lilly. Would you be willing to get on a 30-minute phone call with me? Can we schedule something?
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
let me pick your brain.
Anytime.
So you're all saying yes and nodding yes, but is there any way that you, as a person, prefer to be approached? Is it a LinkedIn message? Is it a, I mean,
Yeah, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's great.
Bye.
Fine for me.
Yeah, yep.
because that's, I mean, that's some of the stuff that we teach through our ETO programs, different ways to network and leverage. And one of the tips that we teach our students is look for those commonalities within those organizations, people. So I want to work at Lilly. I look up Lilly. Now I'm filtering the people that work at Lilly by Army or veteran or whatever. Now I'm going to list the people who are veterans at Lilly. Now I'm going to send a message to you and say, hey, you know, you're a veteran, I'm a veteran, I want to be there. Can you, would you be willing to jump on a call with me? Or the Purdue, I see you're a Purdue alum, I'm a Purdue alum. Is there any way you'd be willing to help out a fellow Boilermaker in the process of figuring out how to land at Lilly? So that's things that we teach them. I like to hear back from the employers and the people that are there, like, absolutely, love being able to help the next.
Yeah, I
group.
mean, if you're willing to field the request, you're more than welcome to give out my name to someone that requests.
Sure.
Yeah,
And I would probably speak for anybody at Lilly. If you reach out to anybody at Lilly, Lily's culture, they'll help you.
You'll
But
get an answer.
absolutely, I think definitely veteran to veteran, all the veterans would help you as well.
Great.
yeah. I mean, there's a veteran leader network and we've talked about it before. It's like, how do we take veteran speak and make it Lily speak and human speak? So, bridging that gap with talking veteran to veteran, that's the best way to do it. Make sure you point in the right direction.
I think it shows, reaching out like that, shows initiative, they're interested, they care, they genuinely want, to get on with Lily and they're looking for any avenue. So like, I think any one of us would be happy to help.
Absolutely.
And, have them reach out to folks that are in the discipline that they want to pursue.
Sure.
Because I couldn't tell you anything about electrical engineering or HVAC or, ask me anything about production. I'll be more than happy to answer anything about production. I'm one of the interviews, so I'd be happy to do a mock interview with somebody, so they know, what the direction of the questions are, for the behavioral based questions that we ask.
Great. Have any of you had kind of those kinds of experiences happen to you where people have reached out and asked for help on, hey, I'd love to get a coffee call, pick your brain. Is there any way you'd look at my resume? Has any of that ever happened to y'all?
I've had past friends that I was in the military with just reach out and ask for like my resume format and just see that they want to see what I did because they know I got a job here and they just want to see how I wrote down what I wrote. And,
What worked?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep, okay.
Um,
People in the guard have done it.
How's that? If I may, going back to the previous question about the career fair and what you guys are looking for that. As someone who's going into their second year where I haven't taken many of my industrial, like for me, example, industrial engineering classes, is there still an opportunity for me to get on with Lilly this next coming summer? And like, even if I'm just helping out and like any way I can, is there a way for that? Like, is that a opportunity for me?
We do
Or-
have a summer intern program, but I think it's between your junior and senior year.
Okay,
Pretty certain.
okay.
Following on that question, knowing that your program is meant for junior, senior year, what kind of advice would you give a student who's got an eye on Lilly in the future to use that sophomore summer to build out their portfolio, so to speak? Kinds of experiences would you suggest that they try to seek out and take advantage of?
Yeah, one, I would say, come to the career fairs, keep nudging, talking to the recruiters, building that relationship with the recruiters so that when the internships come, they know, hey, I got a guy who I see every time at Purdue and I'm gonna reach out to him, right? So that's one. Finding internships or a summer job or something, anything to build that experience side of your resume also helps you stand out. There's a lot of students out there that don't do anything to build the experience side. They just do the education side, right? So And if you can find something within your career path where you can apply some of those skills and learnings, that's also gonna be a better opportunity, right?
Another benefit would be if you could get a job or an internship at somewhere that is CGMP, current good manufacturing practices. That will, as we are the CGMP company, that will take you even further, learning the basics of GMP.
So that would really be anything food, or obviously pharma, BC.
Anything that's regulated by the FDA.
Right, okay.
Are there any campus-based experiences you would recommend? Clubs that that would look good on a resume or would help you kind of notice them a little bit, or projects, or, anything that you can think of that would be a campus-based experience that they could seek out?
Anything leadership wise?
Okay,
I know when I was in school, Society of American Military Engineers was a good organization to be part of, to learn more about mechanical, civil, electrical construction. I was also in the Institute of Industrial Engineers, and just the student conferences they do every year is a good opportunity to learn about different businesses and what they do, and their challenges, and how industrial engineering can help their organizations.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know if this is for every industry, but I think, some students are able to attend conferences for free or for a much cheaper rate than if somebody from the industry came to that. So seeking those opportunities as well, to get into that conference, to learn, get continued education from those conferences, and then just the networking. Work with people there, build those relationships.
well, that comes to the end of this workshop. Thank you all for your time and your answers. I think this was a great conversation and discussion. Again, this was a recorded session. The recording we posted to the Veteran Military Success Center's YouTube channel, so anybody who missed part of it can go back there and watch that video later. Thank you again, and this was fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.